we're going to make everything campus-wide. We're doing new menus, so we're going to do everything through a 5-week cycle. All right. So breakfast and dinner are during the week are going to be handled by you guys, and then on the weekend, normal 3 meals like you guys do overnight. But the menus that we are starting, this is week 1. We just started it this week, but this here is a week at a glance. Okay, so this will show you from Monday. That was just the April 2nd. Today's Wednesday. It'll go through Sunday, Monday through Sunday. So next Monday it'll start week 2, following menu week 3, following week 4, and then 5, and we rotate back to week 1. So it's a spring and summer menu that we're doing. This right here, it just shows you all your basic residence dining. So like there's no special diets. So over here at Bel Air, you have your mechanical sauce and your purees, right? Mm-hmm. Right. That's what this is going to be for. These binders are going to be available to you at all times, kind of right over there where the other ones are always. If you need to do snacks and that kind of stuff, you always have these other binders. So this is going to be for your day at a glance for basically like all the different diets that we do. 7 diets. So the resident dining right here, that is going to be like your normal diet. So like your house, I think it's considered a house diet in the form over there. So for Monday, I'll show you for breakfast, you have the oatmeal, baked cheese omelet. For lunch, you have your garden salad, hamburgers, and I'll show you there. Now for your mechanical sauce, and for your purees, it's going to be right next to it here. So it'll give you an idea of what you need to do for your purees. And have you guys had to do any of that stuff as far as using the blender?
Blender.
Okay, so it's the same thing, still the same kind of consistency. Lindsay's going to go over what kind of like consistency you're really looking for. I mean, you guys have trained already, so I'm sure you know what you're doing. But so say over here we have seasoned hamburger patties. So for a puree, you're going to do the seasoned hamburger patty and then puree blender like you normally do. But this will tell you exactly what they can and cannot have. So if like certain normal foods can't be pureed, it'll tell you over here what they should be getting instead. So something that has seeds or like doesn't puree well, like corn is another thing that really shouldn't be pureed. Like it'll tell you, it'll give you a substitute over here what should be done instead. So that way there's no confusion for each day. Same thing with mechanical stock. It'll tell you what needs to be chopped, what can and can't be chopped. Be right here as well. Off to the side here, it also gives you the portion sizes. There's different things over here. Say for orange juice, it has 4 fluid ounces. For oatmeal, it has 6 ounces. So to show you how much they should be getting per portion per diet as well. So that's what different spoodles and things are here for. So say like for your 4 fluid ounce, everything on these will be labeled. So if you know that you need, say like a 6 ounce portion for oatmeal, you'll look, and these are all labeled on the things here. See how it's 4 ounce right there? So there's the different spoodle for every kind of thing on here. So you always have to look for the 4 ounce spoodle, whereas for this one the 6 ounce spoodle, it'll tell you on here which one to use for per portion per resident. Everything. Even like this is another one you use these for vegetables. It's the same thing. It has it labeled right on there. These are your normal measuring cups, 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup. It has all that stuff on there. Full cup. These scoops right here. It'll always have the number right on this little tab. So if it's for your purees and your mechanical sauce, you're using this mostly. So right where it says the number 16 scoop for the scrambled eggs for puree, you would look for the one thing that says 16 on here. Yeah, well that'd be a number 16 scoop. So this one says number 6.
So we have to
6.
You have to scoop 6 times.
No. This is just showing you what number scoop it is. So this one, see this is the number 16 scoop. So where it says number 16, that's the portion size. So you want to use this.
Okay.
The number 16 scoop, because that's what's telling you for the portion.
Okay.
So always look on this little tab here. I'll show you which one. There's a number 12, and there's a number 8 as well. Okay. So always make sure you're looking for these to make sure you're using the correct one so that you get the correct portion size. So that's how you read those. Also, with the portion sizes, CCD, I don't know if you guys have any over here in Miller A, but always check with you because they always, it's a controlled carb diet, so they get less bread and more vegetables. So, where is it? So, yeah, a lot of times they'll say like you get double, like 2 times 1 ounce, so it's, you know, otherwise you just get 1 ounce, they get double the portion. It says like 2 to 1, same thing. Any questions? Am I going too fast at all for you guys?
My question is, the residents, are they going to put the amount of, you gotta get any portion, like for some of them they have
Yeah, so like the EPPs you're talking about, like if they have like some of them
seconds.
Yeah, so they get seconds.
Yes.
So then, right, so then you can use, like say, if like the EPPs are still going to be the same, so that you're usually using.
Okay.
So if someone says they get seconds, use that same scoop to give them seconds. So that way you can control and make sure they're getting the right amount of doubles. Or, yeah, so the EPPs are still the same for your clients or for your residents. So, like say, you know, yeah, this is a good one for you. But right, so yeah, just give them double if that's what they're supposed to get. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any other questions go with that? So that's going to be as far as like the portion control and what you're looking at. And obviously,
if, like for example, you get seconds,
okay,
then it still feel like you want more, so we cannot give more.
Well, I mean that's as far as like them
if they're
giving.
not on a restricted diet and they're on regular, they can pretty much have what they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
that's what
ones
you're
that
asking. They're
are
still
on-
hungry after all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because we have some like Didi. Sometimes we say, I need more, I want more.
Yeah. Well, then if that's if
But
we're
don't let them
EPP
overeat.
Huh?
Don't let them overeat.
Yeah,
To get
okay.
themselves sick.
Yeah, if their
Okay.
EPP says that they are allowed to eat as much as they want, then yeah. But if the EPP says you have to control, then try to avoid that.
Okay.
So that will still be in this book.
Okay.
So for like the carb control diet, which you don't have, you're not going to have to worry about that. Let's say if for some reason someone moved in here and did that, and they went, well, I want more bread, you'd have to try to.
Control.
Yeah. So there's actually an alternate list.
Okay.
As well here. So menu alternates for week 1. So for breakfast, where it says oatmeal, you can give them any other kind of hot cereal with it. Like say they want cream of wheat instead of oatmeal.
Okay.
Like that stuff is always available.
Okay.
Hey, how's it going? Come on in. How you doing? Take a seat right over here.
Thank you.
Ah, I should have known.
Well, we need to somebody to cover for us.
No, it's okay. I'll just keep on going, and then I'll come back and revisit what we already started with you guys once we get. She's coming.
She's in the bathroom.
Yeah, she's gotta wash her hands.
I'll just wait for a second and we'll finish.
Okay.
Right. So see how in this EPP it says yes, encourage double portions for David. That's when you would be given the double portion size of that scoop or the ladle. I can tell that, yeah. So, does that make sense?
This one I know.
Yeah, and please, if you guys not understanding anything I'm saying, stop me. We got time. So, well, you'll be able to understand it and do this rather than me just keep on talking for yourself.
Okay.
Hello, how are you? Good. Alright, so I'll go back and revisit what I covered with these guys after we're all done. Right now I'm just telling them how to read. This is the new data at a glance for the new menus that started. So we were in week 1 right now.
Yes.
So I'll go back and show you how to read this and portion sizes and stuff like that. But right now what we're talking about is alternates for every week. So this will be the book with the guidelines for the day at a glance for all the different diets. It will always be in this binder per week. So you can see this is week 1, week 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it rotates back to week 1. So yeah, it's pretty much how it is in the kitchen and all that stuff right now. So in also this will be the binder where there'll be menu week 1. It'll have the week at a glance, so you can compare like Monday to Monday, Tuesday to like the next day. So that'll always be in this binder. Also with the alternates for everything. So for it says like for week 1 here, yeah, you can always you only can give them any kind of other hot cereal. For case and freeze, just make sure they don't have milk. That's another one of the diets down on this page. So case and freeze, like dairy free. So that's going to be in here as well. Sodium restricted, that's like, try to keep low salt. Gluten free, the guys don't have in here either, but in case someone moves in, that will be all right here. And just go off with like the alternates, this kind of makes sense with it. So, yeah, so protein alternates for breakfast, 2 scrambled eggs, 2 egg omelets, 6 ounces of yogurt. Instead of if they don't want any kind of protein on there, like sausage or something, or scrambled eggs. It's all kind of listed right here. I'll show you everything. So you can read through that. Any questions about that? That goes okay. Also, foods high in fiber and foods high or rich in iron. In case there are any kind of deficiencies, and they say they want more of that in their diet, these are the list of foods that you can give them that will always be on hand as well. The alternates should always be on hand. If you guys ever run low, I'm the one that sends out the food to the cottages and all that stuff. So if you're running low with that stuff, just gotta let me know. Reach out to the kitchen. It's 4912 extension, or just email kitchen, tell your supervisor or somebody to reach out when you have any problems. Another thing, none of this stuff is really written in stone. So if you're finding that, say, they don't like a certain kind of food on here, they're not eating this or that, there's something you can always go back and change and update these. So it's a this is our first rollout. So we're just kind of going off of what I'm used to. We want to use the regular menus for the whole day programs and stuff.
So the kitchen is going to bring the food, or we going to cook?
So there's a shopping list, but you guys are still going to cook like you do for dinner and for breakfast. But what I'm trying to do is send like just the proteins and the vegetables, and I'm going to do it every Monday and every Thursday, so you don't have a fridge full of just random stuff or stuff that's going bad in the fridge. So I'm going to try to send you over, say like on Saturday, there's a roasted vegetable lasagna. So for the recipes and stuff in here, it'll tell you how to make a roasted vegetable lasagna. That's kind of crazy to ask you guys to do that. So I'll send you over a frozen one that you put in the oven, and have the instructions on top. So we'll try to make things easier that way.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to still have to make some stuff, but we're trying to cut back on that too, so there's less confusion.
Less cooking.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you still have to do your meals. Something that's not going to be time consuming and going to take you hours to prepare, especially for breakfast. You guys wake up and you gotta go. So dinner, I know you have a little more time to prepare stuff. We'll try to make it as easy as we can, and that's part of why I'm going to need your feedback throughout this process too. Make sure you're taking notes and saying like, this isn't working, this is too hard, this doesn't make sense, or yeah, I need communications.
Feeding back about what is.
Yeah, communication is important. So, so yeah, we're gonna have to just keep an open dialect and take notes when you can. So yeah, so as far as the shopping list goes, this is the shopping list for week 1. This is just your staples. This is going to be in this as well. So like I said, I'm going to buy like the proteins, like the chicken, the beef, hamburger patties, chicken tenders, things like that. I'm also doing the vegetables and the fruit like I have been. And then this is all stuff that goes throughout this that you just need to check and make sure it's in the cabinets. Right? And then you can take them out if you need to. Or prepare just, as a week's coming in, you just look at the shopping list and go through what's in the cabinets. Labeling and dating is very important as well. So this is where we're not having stuff like you buy something, whatever comes in here, just make sure I always have the date on it. I'll try to do that on my end, best I can. Just because I'm going to have some other guys doing it, I'll try to remind them if I slip, just make sure that you cover for me and write the date on stuff, so that way it's not sitting there for 2 weeks, taking up space. Or then if also we can look and see if that needs to be something that's not sent anymore, change on the menu, that kind of thing. But yeah, this is just your basic like spices and bread. This way you guys are still using the food cards and all that stuff, getting them out, which is still important. So, any questions on that? So that'll be here. All right, so these will be the recipes. So, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it goes by day, obviously. So this will be show you, like, so for right here, big cheese omelet. This will be the recipe to show you that, you know, like in a pan, you know, you mix the eggs, cheese, bake it in the oven, and that way you can cut it and just serve instead of actually doing pan by pan. So there's things like that. You know, if for some reason these are too complicated or you guys don't understand them as you're working with this stuff, just let us know. I mean, we can try to, like, I can try to write down a simpler, like a, you know, simpler recipe for you, or we can try to change it. Like I said before, this is all part of the new system we're trying to work out. So your inputs, like I said, is very important. But I'll show you everything here that you need to know going on how to prepare each meal in case you've never heard of something before, or you know, having any questions with that. Like tomato mozzarella caprese salad, we'll show you all the ingredients, mix them all together in a bowl for the 12 people that we have. Like, so all the stuff should be in there for these things. And if for some reason too, like you're looking at the recipe and you don't see something, if it's during the day or, you know, like if you're checking for later that night or you're checking for the next day, just contact us and we'll try to get the correct ingredients for you.
Okay.
All right, does that make sense to everybody? All right, I will take a quick break right now because Lindsay here is going to go through the correct consistencies for your puree and your mechanical sauce. I believe her sheets are right here.
I have a question.
Yes.
It just came to my mind.
Sure.
For breakfast, because I wasn't here in the morning when they came up.
Okay.
And we normally use sugar for the oatmeal. And there's no sugar, so this morning
So you need
we
sugar.
need something. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to change from sugar to something else, but we need something. We can't give you
Yeah.
guys.
Well, if you need sugar, like I can always give you like a little container so you can go back out and shop for it. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah,
Like-
what happened? No,
just-
yesterday, no, I forgot yesterday. Actually, I went to the store.
Okay.
I bought the oatmeal. But when I came, you know, because I went late and I have to come and do my shower, so I was worried. So I can't buy the sugar.
Okay.
Immediately when I came, I said, oh, I forgot the sugar, and it was too late for me again to go to Acme.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I thought they changed.
No.
Remove
No, because that stuff will still be, yeah,
Oh, okay.
all that
Okay.
stuff, all your staples, you guys will still be
But like,
responsible.
in sugar-wise,
Mm.
like you have somebody here that is using sweet and low.
Okay.
Because even yesterday they do the order for the food. Because I couldn't go to buy everything, so I think they'll bring the food this afternoon or this evening. I think they order everything because I went to Melissa, Christian did it for me yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're focusing on the breakfast.
Okay.
And
Sometimes
Ahmed's
Okay.
You gotta
okay,
be
what he's trying to say makes sense. Let's say there are some people who can't have regular sugar, which they need sweet and low.
Right.
So is it okay we just cook the oatmeal without?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Then
actually, yes.
When we dish it out, we
Yes.
put whatever anybody can. You know,
Yeah, actually,
we can have
I-
this, we can have
I
that.
prefer that.
That way.
Yeah, I
Like for,
prefer it that way.
Like for hungry, cannot have regular milk.
Yes.
You need lactate.
Right,
So-
so, exactly, so like even for this, for your casein-free, right, so if you're preparing stuff and you know you have a casein-free, that
Yes.
lactate-free guy,
Yes.
make sure you're making the oatmeal with just water.
Water, exactly.
And then,
then-
right, then you add your
then we
sugar,
add,
yes.
yes, so, okay,
That's
yeah,
what-
please,
that's
we
what
need
we
that,
do.
we need that documented here, please, because.
Okay, I'll make sure that with the
Yeah.
recipes.
So that, you know,
Everybody has to read and
everybody-
understand.
Different people cooking.
Okay.
So if we already know, nobody will take milk to make this, because whenever we used to cook, we have to make some for Audrey,
Okay,
and
let me
then
just-
mix.
Yeah, everybody
Write that down,
knows
so I
the way, not the use
Water,
water.
yeah, I know.
Drugs, don't mix, don't,
That's why
I don't know
we
what
use-
it is, mama.
Exactly, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
water.
So if it's water, let's just say
You water.
oatmeal, cream of wheat, use water.
Water.
You understand? Cooking it.
Yeah.
And then the end we can add whatever the quantity is.
everybody-
Yeah, sometimes they send overtime people there.
Yeah, they don't
understand.
know. Thank you.
A lot.
A lot. You see.
Alright, well then I'll put like a cover page in each
Yeah,
one.
yes.
So that way it's very, it's
For
a visual
oatmeal,
reminder.
turn
Yeah.
away so that we can use water only.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what we
Yeah,
want you to do.
yeah.
So that's perfect. Yeah, it's great that you're doing.
All of
Yeah,
you.
these
My
ones
name's
are good.
Lindsay. I'm the new speech and swallow therapist here at Melmar. So I work with essentially all the ICF, all the adults. And what a speech language pathologist does is we specialize in treating feeding and swallowing disorders. So that's why I'm here. There's a lot of people in the world, and especially on Melmar's campus, that have a disorder called dysphagia. And that is when the anatomy or the physiology of the swallow function is impaired. So swallowing is difficult, uncomfortable, or dangerous for our individuals at times. So there's two main concerns with dysphagia. It's choking and aspiration. Aspiration is when food or material enters into your lungs, into your airway. Do you need a minute? Are you okay?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. So what happens when food enters into our lungs is it sits at our lung bases and can grow bacteria. Then when we grow too much bacteria, it develops into pneumonia. If our individuals get pneumonia, a lot of times it's very hard for them to fight that off. It normally requires a hospitalization, and in some cases can even lead to death. So aspiration is very dangerous. Choking is defined as food blocking the airway or any kind of material, because sometimes people can swallow inanimate objects that will block your airway. But that is when you cannot breathe at all. The airway is blocked off. That's when you're going to do the Red Cross, CPR, like the 5 back blows and the abdominal thrust to get it out. So many of our individuals have dysphagia or history of aspiration pneumonia or history of choking. So what we do to treat these disorders is modified diet textures. That's how we keep them safe, and we modify the food in the environment so that the food is safe for them to eat. So we have our adaptive equipment page, but oh, there it is. So here are our 4 diet textures that we offer at Melmar. It is regular, chopped, mechanical soft, and puree. So those are our 4 standard diets. The first one is, pretty standard. It's the regular texture diet. There's no modifications that are required. Typically, the individuals self-feed when they have a regular texture because they're able to cut their food up, they're able to do everything themselves. A chopped diet is when food is cut into small pieces, about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So you want to get them into bite-sized pieces. That'll be easier for our individuals to chew and for individuals who can't cut their food. So it's pre-cut for them. So that helps them with that. Our mechanical soft diets are the ones a step down from chop. And I always like to make note that and when we get these binders all situated, we'll get these pictures in color for you. But if you see the difference between the chopped and the mechanical soft is chopped up even finer. It needs to be smaller than 1/2 inch in diameter. So this is like really finely chopped down. Sometimes you have to use the food processor, the blender, because sometimes like meats like pork chops, you just can't possibly keep cutting that down. So you kind of have to put it into the blender. And if you're going to put it into the blender, always add an extra liquid, so that way. Mechanical soft diets also, by standard, normally what I like to say is fork mashable. You should be able to cut the meat with a fork, you should be able to cut the vegetables with a fork, either the side of it or push down. So a great diet that I like to think of is a banana. right? So if you have a banana, you can cut into that really quick, or you can smush it down really quick, all with a fork. Easy. That is a great mechanically soft diet to kind of keep in your head as an example. And like I said, it can require the blender sometimes. Then the puree texture food is our most restrictive diet here, and most important because most of the time the individuals on this diet are not able to chew, and it's very unsafe for them to have advanced texture. So it has to be pureed very smooth and cohesive, no lumps at all. So you can really see the difference in the pictures there. The purees are really smooth, cohesive, no lumps, no bumps, no skins. It has to all be the same texture. So you have to process those in the blender. And when you're processing them in the blender, you have to add a liquid. So something like broth or water or milk or something to give it a little bit more moisture, because if you just put it in the blender, it'll come out that dry, brown texture. Exactly, exactly. So, and like I said, a good rule of thumb for puree is that if the individual needs to chew to eat it, it is not puree, and it is not safe for them to eat. Okay, so those are the really important textures here. And I always say, you know, if you have a question about the texture, ask. It's more important that you're asking because this is very dangerous for our individuals if they're not receiving their prescribed textures. Okay, that's my little soapbox. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I just have a suggestion.
Absolutely.
Because we have different people working here, if it is possible to put each and every client's visible paper to show what type of texture of food
Right.
they're supposed to have. So, like for us, I come here at 7:30 in the morning, and I have to do one resident, and then from there I come to the kitchen. Unless sometimes the other, people will come and help.
Yeah.
But it's a small time for us to do
talk.
everything.
Yes.
Like, this come here. So, but if we have something to show that, okay, I know Kevin is on puree.
Right.
So I know when I come, Kevin is puree.
So
But
that's
like other people coming, like over time, people don't know.
Yeah,
So
some of
we
them,
don't want them
they don't even read.
Yeah, like it's time. Like
To
put somebody
get time
come
to
work
read.
here.
Or they,
Yeah.
So it's
No,
better
absolutely.
In the morning,
for us to
they
have
rush in,
something
yeah.
visible.
Absolutely.
Okay, I
So-
know two people. are
So a
eating
couple
puree.
things in response to that.
Yes.
You will always have a binder with the EPPs in it. All of their textures are in this binder. And this is for a couple reasons. So you should be able to flip through and say, okay, so our friend David who's here, his diet texture, regular. This person's diet texture, also regular. I believe there's some purees or some in here though. So you just go through, he's chopped with thin liquids.
I
So
understand.
this,
No, I said that's what
the
you
reason,
That's what we're asking for.
yes, so this will be here
All right.
all the time.
All
It'll be a binder next to
Okay.
the,
menu.
next to the menu,
Yes.
next to the fridge, always something that'll be readily available for you guys. Just as an aside, one of the things about posting names and
Yeah.
things of that nature is that sometimes, and there's not enough data either way, but sometimes that can be considered a HIPAA violation because these are private medical information in your prescribed diet. There's some discrepancies on where DOH thinks that lies. So when we put it in a binder,
And put it somewhere
it's
we
a
can
little bit
see.
more protected
Yeah.
as opposed to everyone's names out. So just so you guys are aware, it's not that we're trying to make life harder for you, it's that it's really part of the regulations that things can't be out in the open quite like that, because we want to protect our individuals' privacy. This is their private medical information, and I know that diets don't seem like private medical information, but really it is.
It is.
There's a lot of information in here that we get to be privy to because we're direct care staff, but not everyone in the world should know. Right. Does everyone in the world know that I have a lactose allergy?
If somebody
No.
come and ask me,
Right.
I'll tell them, go
Right.
the green book,
Right.
open it, and look for the person.
Yes. That's what I would do.
Yes,
I
yes,
think
so-
that's why we're doing these trainings.
just want them, you know,
We're
to
giving
be
you guys the
visible.
power to take charge and say, you know what, this book is here.
Yeah,
And if this
the
book isn't here, call your
yes.
supervisor, call a manager on
Yes.
call. We will get this book here for you, okay? That makes that, I
Yeah,
love
yes.
that. That's a great point. That's a very, very good point. So I appreciate you bringing that up. So, and then another just quick review too, is we have a lot of adaptive equipment here. This will also be detailed into your binders. I'm not going to go over these today because they don't really pertain to the menus, but just know that this will be another resource for you to have in your binders, okay? Just so you can understand why, you know, why does so-and-so have a nosy cup? Well, right here, because that cup helps them with their head positioning. Or why does that person have angled spoons? So this will just help you understand a little bit more and understand the importance that if they're prescribed this adaptive equipment, has to be presented at every meal. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, once again, to reiterate, shopping, I was taking a quick look through stuff. Everything, no matter whether there's peanut butter, cereal, whatever, I'm going to drop off a bunch of black magic markers. Everything must have a date. Yeah, whether you open it or just as soon as it comes into the kitchen. Just try and get into a habit. This is something I'm actually doing through my kitchen staff too. It's not just you guys. It's a whole campus thing. We really need to start because, you know, so by putting the date and when it came in, you can tell that, you know, even though peanut butter doesn't really go bad that fast, it still needs, you know, could be here for a month. You get another one, put it in front of it. How do you know it's not being rotated or it could be potentially dangerous? So whether it's cereal, dry cereal, whether it's snacks, goldfish crackers, or something in the fridge, tomatoes, which you can usually tell, peanut butter, all this stuff. Make sure you get in the habit of it. I'll drop some more markers off in a little bit. Something that's going to be really important moving forward. Especially with this.
So as soon as they come from shopping.
Yes, when you come from shopping, even if it's just spices or anything. Just throw like your little date on it.
So
Yeah.
all the food.
Yes. Yeah, all of it. Not whether it's if it's salt, pepper, doesn't matter. Just just write the date. Like so, like today's April 4th.
Yeah.
Just put 4/4
So when you come from shopping.
anywhere. Yeah, it's campus wide. Everybody has to do it. It's not just
Because
not
no,
just
I know.
guys.
Because what happen if you buy like $400 food,
Yeah.
then you sit down writing all that, and you have to do your sharing. That's
Well,
you're gonna take all your time.
no, what? So
Yeah, I think
that's
that-
why he's here.
No, that's why I'm saying we have to get like a floater. No, during that time, I'm telling you. Mm. We have to get a float because first of all, let me go. I go for shopping 6 o'clock. Then I have my 2 guys.
Okay.
Then I have to come and shower them. Then I have to label all the $500 food or stuff, more than 1 card. So I sit down. Maybe by 12 o'clock I finish.
Yeah, well, no, that's funny. Well, it's about when you're putting it into the cabinets and stuff like that. So say at the end, you 12 o'clock, everybody's
What time
resting.
11. Because most of the time I have to go to shopping like 6 o'clock
In the evening.
in the evening.
And then when you come back.
Then
Yeah.
when I come back, let me say 7 or 8 o'clock, then I start my shower. By 9 o'clock I finish, then I sit down writing all those 500.
Well, it's just as you're putting it into the
It's
thing.
easy.
Yeah, just 2 seconds. Look, like as long as you're like so you're putting it into a thing. You have a marker. You just write 4/4. Put it away. 4/4. It's really.
Well, we're gonna
I
try.
mean, it has to be done.
You need help,
So, I
you
mean-
can call other people too.
Yeah. You can do like
Yeah, I mean, instead of doing 500 hours at once,
Yeah.
just do 200 hours this day, 200 hours the next day, or work it out with
Yeah,
staff or with.
Let the manager know that
Yeah.
this is the road that we're going to be starting.
I mean, it doesn't
And
have to be
take time.
totally on you.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be
That's
spread
a good
out,
question.
equal
because
responsibilities.
there's a lot of-
Yeah,
a lot
of
of
them.
work.
Well, no, I mean, trust me, like me in my kitchen right now, we're short-staffed, and you only have so much time to get stuff done. And yeah, it gets stressful when you have all these little things like that add up to like a lot of.
So
Yeah.
and again, if you want to, this is because I don't know how they do it, because I don't buy food. If you know what exactly we need, you can just define it half,
Yeah, what we need.
maybe the any other day, half of it instead of one time.
Well, like, let me say the menu, let me say week 1. Go and buy the week 1, bring it.
Yeah, I don't do everything at once. I do Mondays and something like twice a week. So, I mean, that's, and everything will be labeled on my end as far as like proteins and stuff like that. So, as far as your shopping list, it shouldn't be too crazy where, and I mean, yes, the very first time as we're starting this menu, yeah, the very first time you shop for each week, it's going to be a lot of stuff. So yeah, I can see how, but just work with your supervisors or...
Yeah, no, we request a staff to help us.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, it's something that we do have to, regardless.
If you do shopping, first of all, when you come, you know how much time it takes to put these things away. So that way, in the future, you know, okay, I'll need somebody to this time.
Yeah, I mean, they can schedule appropriately, help you out. Yeah, and that's a good question. That's a good point because, right, I don't know what goes on over here, and you guys don't know what goes on my end. It's a good point. Is there any more questions about that?
No, we don't. Anything, yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, also,
yes.
The parts.
Yes.
We noticed that it removed the old parts, and the ones that came don't work on the.
So they're not the ones they got during
That's the
induction?
wrong ones. They don't work.
Lindsay.
The pots?
Yeah, they're not
the
induction
parts. The
pots?
new part don't work.
Oh, we didn't throw any pots away.
they old one, they said yeah.
We rearranged.
Then say.
No, we have new parts.
We said it.
They don't
We
work.
added some, we didn't take any away. She added.
Oh, okay, yeah, they don't work. Oh, we added, yeah, they don't work.
They don't work on the
They don't work
induction.
on that. Yeah, they don't.
Which means,
Yes.
well, you know what?
So,
I'll work with her on that.
No.
I'll make sure you get the new ones.
Yeah, I've been there for long.
We need new ones.
Okay.
We did, well, bringing them, but then they don't work.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something
I
we
think,
can do.
the old type that we have is the one that works.
Okay.
So if you guys see the old one, that's, we get it.
No, it's all induction, right? It's the, I know which one's
It's
the
two.
Yeah.
We'll get that fixed.
Yeah, I know which one.
Yeah, thank you.
So, okay. Anything else before we move on to the next spot?
I guess, yeah. Then you guys can-
Yeah, I mean, there are some more strudels and stuff coming. It's not all the correct sizes yet. I'm waiting for another order to come in. I also have, there's going to be, for like sanitation purposes, there's going to be different color cutting boards, which are on their way in as well. I'll go over that with a different color coding soon. These in the back of every week, it's going to be more of the portion sizes, like what your standard portion sizes are per product. Just like a little cheat sheet in case you ever have a question. You know, like just it's a quick reference for like pureed vegetables. You know, you're usually going to get number 8 scoop, or fruits. You know, for purees or cookies, like you usually get 1 or 6 little reefers. It's like a little cheat sheet in case you have a question. You're like, I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
There'll always be something in the back of these books to help you out with that, especially with snacks or different things like that. So say if this says give them half a cup, and you're not sure, like for some reason you can't find a half a cup, like measuring cup, this will have a conversion on what kind of spoodle to use. So, you know, for like a number 12 scoop, okay, you don't have a number 12 scoop, it's in the dishwasher. You know, okay, you can use a 3 ounce spoodle instead. Alright, so that conversion charts are going to be right here. All that stuff will be in the back here as well.
Okay.
Same thing with your normal sizes for juice, hot cereal. This is like another cheat sheet. It's just like this, just to reinforce. Same thing for all your scoops. Color coding showing you what it is. Like a number 12 is usually 1/3 of a cup. You know, number 12 or number 10 is usually 3 ounces. Like it's color codes to tell you what all that stuff is. Okay, so. And that's just extras, same conversion stuff. Make sure we have the sanitation. Well. Alright, so I have a couple things to add to this binder as well. There's going to be a little, in the back of that as well, there's going to be stuff for sanitation. So give you your color codes for cutting boards. White will be like ready-to-eat foods. So like you have like say chicken fingers on or something like that. You want to chop it up. I can use a white cutting board because it's ready to eat. Green will be for produce like salads, stuff like that. Think fresh produce and fruit. And then red will be for all your like raw proteins. Yeah, exactly. So that'll be like your raw chicken. And there'll also be a sheet there helping with cross-contamination. So like always do your ready-to-eat foods first. Prepare those first. That way you're not cutting raw chicken and then putting produce on top of that or something like that. That's considered cross-contamination and can get people really sick. So there will be more stuff in the back of this book to help you with the sanitation part of things. And it'll also give you minimal and internal cooking temperatures, which say for your chicken breast is always 165 degrees, which is why we have got thermometers for you guys in here, and plus there's going to be a bunch of backups. Make sure you have plenty of them. One thing, there's another cup in here too, but if you ever want to test and make sure the thermometer is correct, you do ice water. You know, stab it around. With these thermometers, see how it's really skinny on the tip? That's where you're going to get your most accurate reading, on the very little tip of this. So always take like the thickest part of the chicken, go in the middle, and that'll always be where you're going to go. So ice water, 32 degrees, and so there we go. It's right at 32, yep, 31.8. So you want this within plus or minus 1 degree. Is it okay? So if you need to recalibrate it, there's a little button on the bottom. You take this cover off, and you can hit the little button, and it'll do plus or minus, and it'll get you where you need to be. So that is how to make sure that's reading properly. So, and then once again, cheat sheet in the back. I'll have all the minimal temperatures: 165 for chicken, 155 for ground beef, pot roast, or different kind of roasts like that. 145 for fish. And also when you're storing things in refrigerators, or when you're doing any kind of that stuff. So chicken is always on the very bottom. Anything, like the higher the temperature it takes to cook, the lower in your fridge that you want to store it if it's raw. Okay, so like your ready-to-eat foods are always on the top, all your raw chicken's at the bottom, and then you can fill with the minimal cooking temperature. And all that stuff will be right in the back here as well. Okay. EPPs are going to stay the exact same, so you guys know nothing changed with any of those. And we're just trying to streamline everything so everybody on the entire campus is on the same thing. So it's a lot easier for me to ask questions or answer your questions. It's a lot easier for the state to come in, make sure everything's appropriate. Yeah. So, questions? Feel pretty good?
Yeah, okay, the freezers, okay. So you just explained the ready to eat, yeah. So are you guys gonna get new freezers for that? Or
Well, that's because we're going to be delivering Mondays and Thursdays, so that should not be stocked full of anything.
Okay.
So before it was like the entire week.
Okay.
So if you go in there right now, it should have food just up until tomorrow. So it should be basically almost empty, besides all your like alternates. That's something we're going to be working with as we go here. So that way we're not overloading you with food for 1 week. You got to throw it in the freezer and try to work it, and it's a big mess. So we're going to try to cut back on that. So once again, if it's not working appropriately, and you're still getting stocked up and stuff for 17 months or whatever, just let us know and we'll work and cut that back.